Can't believe you've never seen it.
I guess you can peer pressure me.
It's that face.
It's not that scary. It's with the time. It's a cool printing. I've only ever met one other person who's read this.
Right.
State of Bliss. I loved the ease and authenticity of these talks. It was like being privy to a relationship in a very intimate and honest way, a safe space where people can just talk freely about whatever they want, whatever they need to. Both the trivial, but also the deep. And it brought me right back to pandemic times when all we could do was meet virtually. It was really nice to have this familiar virtual space to have these conversations permeate, to layer over one another. I also thought the color scheme was really effective in showing them as opposites, but also as complementary colors. I don't know. I'm really into color theory, so it was nice to see that. I just thought this was a really, really lovely piece, and I loved spending time with these two characters and hearing their thoughts. I felt like I really knew them.
A State of Bliss was a really contemplative piece. It was a great insight to these different players and their state of mind, their opinions, and where they stand on life and death and love and all of this. I think this Zoom background is great for it, and having them set apart by all the different colors as well. It kind of gives an insight to what their character is. I don't know if you intended the colors to mean anything. I took them as like a personality trait for each, or like an aura, if you will. But I think it came together to be a really, really interesting piece, a really contemplative piece. I think a lot of times with these, when it is a monologue, sometimes they can get a little slow, and I think you did the pacing really well and jumping in between and where to put silence and where to add the soundtrack back and when to switch. I think you did a really great job of that to keep the piece engaging throughout. So I really want to commend you for that. And this was a really great insight. It was a really, really lovely piece. Very well done.
A State of Bliss. The filmmakers did this really smart. They used color very intelligently here, and I loved what they did with the video conferencing, and how the one girl was more in the blue tones and the other girl was more in red tones. And then when they introduced another character, she had more of a green tone to it. I thought that was really clever and very smart. I liked the music in this a lot. It definitely was really interesting and nice to see that connection over a video conference between two people. So the relationships were there, the actresses, they all did such a fantastic job. And I thought that this was really well done.
This film is called A State of Bliss. This was such an intimate LGBTQ short. 3 different people zoomed at different times with different colored backgrounds, red, blue, and green. I love their chemistry and interactions, getting to know each other, asking all sorts of frank personal questions such as first memories, fears, and thoughts about death. The background colors really set each of them apart. I love the chill, gentle soundtrack below the action, very contemplative. I also enjoyed the direction too. The use of silence at times was very effective. Each character lost in thought. Excellent, memorable piece.
A State of Bliss. This was a really interesting and intimate piece. It really felt like we were kind of a fly on the wall for these conversations between friends, between partners. And yeah, it's really just a peek into like the personal lives of people. And I liked seeing the passage of time. I liked seeing them not talk to each other and just kind of like there was one scene where they were meditating together and breathing together and, snacking and just like being everyday people. And I was like, I don't even know if these are actors. I think that maybe they just are regular people and they're recording these convos. But the dialogue was also really engaging, and I liked the things that they were talking about. I liked the questions that were being asked and how deep and thoughtful they were. It felt like these Zooms always took place at night, in the evening, often feeling like, those late, like 2 a.m. talks in the car, kind of like that. And so it felt, it felt special. It felt intimate. It felt personal. And there was something really special about this film and how they chose to portray those characters, especially like in the Zoom setting. Really creative, really great job.
The review is for A State of Bliss, and I thought this one's very original and quite unique. I love how they use the different colors for their different conversations, and how these casual conversations via a video call turn into very deep personal thoughts, introspection about life and death mostly. And you see the protagonist talking about their most inner feelings and thoughts with their routinary activities and their day-to-day lives. I love the music. This is such an amazing complement to the whole film, and it is an extraordinary piece of finding happiness anywhere. I think it was just a nice exercise on those topics.